podcasting from Northwest Pennsylvania. You're listening to the Gen Extra Podcast, a show about Generation X, movies, technology, weird news, and anything else they feel like. Join them every Monday morning. Now, here's your hosts, Dave and Joe.
All right, welcome back to another episode. Breeze, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing pretty well. How are you?
Good. Here we are again.
Now I got this song stuck in my head.
What song is it?
Here I go again on my own.
Here I go again on my own.
Oh. You kind of sound like Cartman for a second.
On my own. Your kid was asking you a question the other day about the show, wasn't he?
Yeah. He asked. Yeah, my youngest asked how many. Well, what did he say? How many podcasts do you have? And I'm like, well, I only listen to like 3 of them. He's like, no, how many? The ones you do. I'm like, oh, right. I don't know how many. I don't know how many I've done.
He meant how many episodes have you recorded?
How many episodes? Yeah, because he, obviously we had the microphone set down in the home office there, which it looks cool, right, to somebody who's not doing it. Like, it's very novel. You come down and you see someone's workspace and like your studio, right? It's amazing. Like, to us, maybe it's become normal, but
I still love it.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's super jealous of that space.
Yeah, actually. For the record, though, I don't know how many episodes you've done.
Oh, well, then you're useless. Why did you ask me that? I figured you'd have an answer to that.
I think it's in the 30-something. Like, it's been, because you're like right around like 9 months now. 9 months, dude.
9 months.
Yeah, you've given up over a day of your life to record this show.
I'm good with that.
That's a lot. But no, it was really funny the other day. Last week when we had Kelsey on, her daughter was sitting out here and she was like doing her little thing over there. And
yeah,
I gotta find the text she sent me. When she went home, her daughter was talking to her dad, and Elena, the little girl, she's like 4. She was asking her dad. She goes, "Dad, did you see?" This is the text that Kelsey sent me. She goes, "Did you see that guy's popcorn? Or did you see that guy's machine?" And Ryan goes, "What guy's machine?" And she goes, "Mommy, who was that guy who made me popcorn on that machine?" And she goes, "Dave?" And she goes, Yes, Dad. He has a little house and a big house. He's popcorn in the little one."
That actually pretty much sums up our entire experience whenever I meet your Dave.
My little popcorn house.
We say hi to your wife. We go to the big house. We say hi to the dog. Hi to the dogs. Hi to Carrie, and then we go to the little house and we eat popcorn. That's
pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, that is the experience, right?
I guess in the eyes of a child, yeah, that's exactly what this place is. My popcorn,
or in the eyes of your co-host.
That too, yeah. But yeah, I thought that was funny.
So that's hilarious. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, she also said too. So for some reason, she was like, Kelsey was talking to her about my daughter. She was interested in my daughter. And Elena was like, "Oh, is he gonna have any pictures of her?" She's like, "I'm sure he will." And I have one big one on the wall. And so I'm like, "Oh, Elena," I'm like, "I have like Grace's like senior picture book," and I was letting her flip through it and look at all the photos. And when they got back, Ryan had asked, he said, "So what'd you guys do?" And she says, we looked at, or I think she said we ate popcorn and looked at pictures of girls. I was like, "Man, that sounds creepy. Like, be more specific, please."
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Yeah. So that was the conversation.
That was children right there.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Is fantastically funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. So before we jump into national days, we had a couple local stories, one in your neck of the woods and one kind of in ours. It was like 4 hours east of us, but why don't you tell me yours? What happened over there towards Cleveland, Breeze?
Yeah, so this is Summit County. So Cleveland is in Cuyahoga County. Summit County is like Akron, Canton area, if you're familiar with those cities in Ohio. So it's not too far south. It's maybe like 20-25 minutes south to get to Summit County. It's not as far as you'd think. Yeah, so this is let's see, Dateline February 25th. The Ohio State Highway Patrol on Monday released a video of a traffic stop. Troopers discovered $3.5 million worth of cannabis in the back of a U-Haul truck.
Wow.
Yeah, it was all from the dash cam. Yeah.
Does it say like how they why did they stop the van, the U-Haul?
So it says, the quote is, "I want to make sure you're not texting and driving on your phone or anything." Trooper says to the driver after sharing the reason he was pulled over. So maybe distracted driving, maybe enough on his phone.
Okay.
And so the driver gives troopers permission to look in the back of the U-Haul. And during the conversation, he says he's headed from Oklahoma to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought you said Pennsylvania, the trooper says. So now he's conflicting his stories.
Oh.
It shows a trooper opening a large plastic bin filled with what appears to be marijuana.
Oh, no.
700 pounds from the back of the truck, worth an estimated $3.5 million.
Wow. So was the guy actually texting and driving? Seems like, was it a justifiable stop? I mean, I'm glad they found all the, illegal drugs, but what, like, if you were hauling 700 pounds of weed, if you're hauling any weed, like, you're probably going to be on your,
I think like 7 milligrams, I would be driving.
right, like 10 and 2, like eyes on the road, like radios off. Like, I'm going to be the best driver in the world. If this transport driver of these illegal drugs was sitting there checking Facebook or something while he was driving,
maybe. I mean, it's I don't know.
You know what he should have done? He should have threw on some Gen Extra podcasts and just went down the road, man. Just enjoy the show.
Yep. Go cruise. Yeah, it's great. It's a great way to travel.
Yeah.
Highly recommended every time.
So I'm assuming they took the drugs, correct? Yeah, it's all done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of took those drugs. They really, really
did.
They
leave him off with a warning.
No, he definitely convicted of felony drug charges.
Yeah.
That is absolutely that's a tremendous amount of drugs, and in a U-Haul, they're in these like plastic. The videos actually the video in this article is pretty interesting, but they're just like giant plastic utility bins. So they look to be about like, I don't know, maybe like 120 quart bins or whatever, like almost like double size your typical storage bins, and they're just black with the yellow lid.
Yeah, I know those ones.
7 of them. Yeah, and they're just all there, and they're full of bags of pot.
Wow.
Just full. They're literally pouring out of the back of this U-Haul in this picture. It is U-Haul full of pot.
That's insane. Yeah, imagine the the person that grew all the weed and was, obviously
gonna profit from it. Well, probably already did profit from it, right? You want cash up front.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you think so? Or was he taking it somewhere to be sold?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he was the grower. I don't know. I don't know how. You're asking the wrong.
So he wasn't the shower?
Oh, God.
That's terrible.
And we're back to that.
Wrong button.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. So actually, speaking of listening to the podcast, our friend Steve, who's actually been on the show before,
yes,
wasn't an avid listener. And I knew that I've asked him before, I'm like, oh, like, do you happen to check out the show? We talked about this and this. He's like, nah, he's like, I really don't, time to listen to, podcasts. And he just recently told me that he has like these drives now during the week where he's got to kill some time. And he's like, you know what? He's like, I decided I'm going to start listening to the show, but he's not starting to listen to the show right now. He literally went back to episode 1. He's like, I want to hear them all. So he went from the beginning. Yeah. So he's got a lot to catch up on. If he manages to listen to like 2 a day on a trip,
Well, yeah, we're going like 213.
12, 13, somewhere there.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take him a third of a year to like get through the catalog. That's a lot. Yeah, so
we give him we give him like a little medal or something, like hang around his neck like the Olympics or something.
Yeah, so
like you marathoned the Gen Extra podcast.
Yeah, in like June when he finally catches up to this one. I'm glad you've been listening. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so I have another story. My wife was telling me about it. And this is actually pretty horrible. This is not a funny story at all.
Again?
What? No. I mean, yeah, okay. Someone did not survive this story. It was a horrible story. It happened in York, Pennsylvania. And this guy, I believe his name was something Ortiz. He went to a hospital, like I said, in York, and he went in with a semi-automatic pistol,
Oh God.
shot a police officer, and then he grabbed a nurse and detained her with some zip ties. He had like a whole pocket full of these like big fat zip ties, and went into the hospital, and then I guess ended up like unzipping her, giving her the zip ties, and then making her start zip tying people. But before they did that, he had shot 4 other employees who all survived, thank goodness. None of them were fatally wounded. And then so she had to like zip tie all of her staff members, all of her friends, coworkers, and then zip tie herself. Well, then the cops obviously got tipped off for an active shooter,
Mhm.
and they showed up, and then the girl that was initially made to zip tie the other employees, she actually worked herself free and tried to escape. And the shooter grabbed her and was like dragging her down the hall by her hair, and then tried to shoot her. He was going to execute her
Oh my gosh.
for freeing herself, but the gun was empty. And she said that he had squeezed the trigger like 3 times and just click, click, click. And then ended up using her as a human shield, essentially, when the cops came in. And then the police did shoot him while he was holding her as a hostage. Dude, I believe they offered her 2 weeks off of work after this incident.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. Well, she's a nurse. I tell you what, there's a dedicated profession, but oh my gosh, this woman needs like a GoFundMe and like
Do something.
like
Yeah.
what-
Like,
you need a lifetime of psychiatric support for the like forever for that. Like,
yeah. Well, I'm sure they're going to offer her a lot of, psychiatric support for
my
this,
gosh.
but dear God, man, like, I don't know how you come back from that. Like, just
Nope.
when someone literally was going to shoot you and the gun didn't fire.
Mm-mm.
Like, I feel awful for everybody involved, especially for her, man. And she was the one being held, when they took him out. He did, the shooter did die. So I guess that's good. Yeah. And one officer was killed. Horrible.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's a horrible story to share, but it was in the news. And like I said, my wife was telling me about it, and I thought it would be interesting to share something that wasn't funny on our show.
Can we start with your downers now, and then we'll just move up to the light stuff of the guy who like gets,
Well, yeah, that's what I did. I saved all the funny stuff for now.
Oh, okay, good. Well, let's get into the funny stuff. Can
All
we
right.
please do the funny stuff?
Yeah. So we do have some weird news coming. We have like 3 weird news stories. But before we get to that, we have some national days to discuss. What did you find, Breeze? What's happening?
What's happening? Wow.
Come on.
So Friday, February 28th was the National Tooth Fairy Day. It's an interesting thing. What's your Tooth Fairy experience as an adult?
I remember when I was a kid, we would get like the dollar or, a couple quarters or something for a tooth. I believe the Tooth Fairy had some severe inflation happening.
Mm-hmm.
Our kids would get like $20 for a tooth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Tooth Fairy is nicer in your part of Pennsylvania.
What do you do with $1? $1. I mean, kid suffers through a tooth loss, give him $20 and go have some fun, but buy a toy. The kids got excited about it. If Tooth Fairy left $1, in 2018, like who cares? It's $1. So yeah, Tooth Fairy, got a little looser with the wallet when he.
Very good to people down in southwest Pennsylvania. There.
Yeah. Do you? How old is your youngest kid?
7.
I'm sure. Okay, so he still believes in Tooth Fairy, probably.
All teeth are still intact.
Okay.
Well.
Right. Yeah.
That's not surprising because my entire family, like both sides, my wife's and mine, lose teeth very late. He keeps hoping because he's got like classmates in first grade that are like, they're losing teeth, and so like kids tend to like co-op things where they're like, oh, oh, my tooth is feeling loose. Oh, you got to like, no, it's really not. Like,
Yeah,
it's
just
all
stop.
just like a nocebo kind of thing here going on. You're not sorry to bust your bubble there, but no.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? Before we jump into the rest of these,
Yeah.
we didn't even talk about when we met up last weekend.
No.
Yeah, we went to.
You're just gonna say that right after the show.
Yeah, Carrie and I drove over on Saturday morning and went and had lunch with you and your wife, and it was fun. We had a good time. That was the first. That was the first time that I saw your wife in 10 years.
In 10 years, absolutely. At other Joe's wedding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, other Joe's wedding, dude. Yeah, it was, and that was the one and only time. Like we were at rehearsal dinner and then the wedding day.
Yeah.
And I remember we sat close to each other, and that was the famous Kila
Masu.
The Kila Masu.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when they asked me if I wanted key lime pie or tiramisu, and I was unaware of either of these being a thing, and I just combined them by accident. But anyway,
you've grown a lot in 10 years.
I have, yeah. I'm a bit more cultured. But yeah, so we figured that, man, it was time to see her again.
Hang out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we see each other, I wouldn't say like a lot, but because we live.
I mean,
yeah, we make it a point to see each other at least 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah,
well, because we're 2.5 hours apart. But yeah, but with her, it was fun though. We went to Birdie Town.
Yep,
it was a newer restaurant in downtown Cleveland.
Yeah,
does that constitute downtown Cleveland?
It's technically in Lakewood.
Okay,
so yeah, it's a suburb. It's just to the west of Cleveland.
Okay. Yeah, it was like cute little restaurant with a 9-hole or 18-hole putt course inside of it. It was very cool.
Yeah, they were very, what's the word I'm looking for? They were very bespoke, like mini golf holes. Like it was not what I expected visually. Like they're each kind of like their own. It's not like a putt where it's all interconnected, like a mini golf course where you're like, it's kind of like snaking you through. They're like individually built. They were really nice looking too. Like they were all like wood framed, really sturdy.
They were nice.
They were like, yeah, they were kind of fancy looking, but they were like a pod, right? It's almost like a self-encapsulated booth, if you will, of a course. So very self-contained holes and objectives there. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun. They're very creative with their holes too. I like the differences. Come on now. Come on.
It's Friday afternoon. You're going to drop a phrasing like that?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, very creative. And Carrie won, I believe.
Carrie did win, I think, by 1 stroke.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus, man. Yeah, I had the only... We're not counting the last hole, but I had, because that was a guaranteed hole in one.
That's true.
I had the only real hole in one. I was proud of myself.
The only real hole in one. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, I also came in last place. So
yes, also true. But it's because you tried the hardest. You were really pushing the boundaries.
Is that what
like what you could do. Oh yeah, sure. We're gonna go with that.
All right. But no, yeah, definitely a cool place. Check out Birdie Town if you're ever in the Cleveland area. It was good food.
Yeah, really good food.
Yeah, I mean there were some interesting things on that menu. I'll say.
I wasn't a fan of the ketchup.
The ketchup was weird. It was a little weird. It wasn't, it wasn't Heinz
ketchup. It was not.
Yeah, it was like jelly mixed with ketchup or tomato sauce. I don't know. It was weird, but it was edible.
It was. It just, I needed a bit more, maybe a bit saltier would have been good.
Yeah,
I think
something
a little bit sweeter too at the same time. I don't know. Something was missing there.
Yeah, there were some bougie things on the menu, but they did have, which I really appreciated. They did have a burger and fries, and that was perfect. I was like, thank God.
And pickle spears, which were, the spear loses 5 points. We determined that.
Yeah.
We should explain to our listeners, because this is something I learned about you over the past weekend about your fried pickle.
Oh yeah. Anywhere we go.
Crusade.
Anywhere in the United States we've been. If a place has fried pickles, we're getting them. And I love when they're sliced like in round chip pieces. But when they do them in spears, and you're like, how do these ones rank? I'm like, well, they lost 5 points right off the bat for being spears. I don't like fried spears. They're harder to enjoy. But anyway,
I kind of get that. It's a little bit weird though. It's also a little bit weird. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, but no, but they were fine. They taste good. Anyway, so let's keep moving on through some more national days. Unless did you have something else to add about Tooth Fairy?
Oh no, not really. I just was curious in terms of $2 bills seem to be very popular in our neck of the woods, if you will.
Oh, that's like the Tooth Fairy currency? Is the $2 bill?
Little novel, little novel. Kind of got to use those instead.
But wait. So you give the kid a $2 bill, and I'll bet you tell him, like, don't spend that because it's rare and it's probably going to be worth more than $2 at someday. Is that what you do? Okay. So
no, I don't tell them that, but there's this reluctance to spend it. And so there's a lot of, can I have real money?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. The kid gets excited, he gets the money, but then he gets a bill that he doesn't want to spend.
Right. So where's that bill go?
All right. Back to you. Did you buy it back from? All right.
Yep. It's a beautiful system. got a whole stack of them.
All right. What's next? Well, it's fine.
Next up is National Barbie Day coming up on March 9th. So going to go a little bit ahead here on the national days. But I figured that was kind of worth talking about. Yeah, well, we're going to skip ahead a little bit. Did you see the Barbie movie that came out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
I forget where we ended on that.
It was good.
You like that?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was a fun. I have not seen it again, so I don't know if it's high on the rewatchability factor for me, but it was definitely funny to watch the first time.
I thought so. I think it was pretty fun. Like, I mean, I don't know. It was fun. I thought it was a pretty fun movie. Ryan Gosling kind of cracks me up.
Yeah, he did. He was a very good Ken. Casa, whatever the name. It was so
Mojo Dojo Casa House.
Yeah,
it's so goofy.
Isn't it like translate to house or something like that?
Yes, something like that. And then we have a little more closer to the appropriate date this Sunday. Well, the Sunday, I guess yesterday, day of listening, March 2nd, is Dr. Seuss Day. You ever a big Dr. Seuss fan? Did you have like a lot of Dr. Seuss books growing up?
Yeah, and we had them for the kids, and I remember having them when I was a kid. I never like obsessed over the Seuss, but
yeah, so it's kind of like some people are lukewarm. I'm kind of middling. There are some of them that I'm okay with. There's some of them that I just don't ever want to read, like ever. Like to my kids, they're so verbose, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is way too long. Like especially like for bedtime, the kid pulls that off the shelf, and you're like, oh no, not anything but that. Some of those Dr. Seuss books tend to get hidden. Like Cat in the Hat's a long book.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Long, but it's like tedious. Like it's just it kind of goes on way too long. I find it funny because what was it? Oh, it was Mike Myers was the Cat in the Hat, which is actually a movie I've never seen of the Dr. Seuss adaptation.
It looked terrible.
And, well, right, and actually that was the last live action because it was so terrible. The estate basically said we are never licensing a live action production of Dr. Seuss ever again. Like ever. It was so bad that they were like, nope, forever and ever. There will, well, never say never, right? But there will most likely not be another live action Seuss movie.
Yeah. Well, there was some other failed ones too, where like the live action Cats was awful.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was pretty poorly panned.
Yeah. I did not enjoy the Grinch, the live action Grinch. I mean, it was fine, but it was fine. Like I don't know. Like I think when you bring like a weird character like that to life, it just sometimes it doesn't translate. Like it's just odd. I'm not a big fan of.
I liked I don't want to say the new one, but the newer animated Grinch with Benedict Cumberbatch voices the Grinch.
Oh, I never saw that. No.
That's actually a good watch. In the holidays, like I would recommend that one. It's actually pretty funny. There's some clever bits to it. There's some like relatable cynicism, but again, it's animated, so you really like it still retains the charm, and you don't have that like disjoint from what you're watching. I think that's the problem with some of the live action stuff is like people don't look. It's uncanny valley because people don't look like that. That's the same complaint as the Cats movie. Is there was an uncanny valley, like there was so much. Now for the Grinch, it actually wasn't CG. A lot of that was all like latex prosthetics and stuff and makeup and masks.
Oh yeah, that was more tolerable than Cats. Cats was doomed from the beginning, dude. It was not good.
Yeah, they CG'd everyone.
Oh, and horrible.
Sorry, as good as your technology is, the human eye knows the difference. It's like subconsciously, you can see the difference. You may not even know it, but you can see it. Your brain knows it.
Yeah, it was very bad.
I've
Yeah.
only seen the previews. I've seen the people taking the piss out of it in videos. I've never watched it start to finish. I don't want to.
Yeah,
Just
I recently.
It's my favorite musical anyway.
You say it's not, or it is?
It's not. It's really not. I don't know. There's something that just never really caught me. Lots of people lose their minds over going to see Cats. It was never a particular favorite of mine. Just
What would you consider your favorite musical? Because you like musicals, and I'm not a big fan.
I do. Generally, I do.
Les Mis, Wicked.
I would say no. Les Mis Les Mis is one of my favorites. It's a bit longer, but there are some incredibly, incredibly good songs in Les Mis that are just like they're like goosebumps, right? Like goosebumps on your arm, like back of the neck is just like they're just chillingly amazing songs in Les Mis.
See, I feel that way about The Greatest Showman.
That has some good up tempo too. I would say there's a lot of pop aspect to that.
Yeah, that's probably why I liked it more.
Very modern, yeah. Well, we talked about that, right?
Yeah,
there's too much singing in this musical.
that was my review of Wicked. So there's too much singing.
We should do. I think we need to make that a new segment. We're going to do 3-word reviews with Dave and Joe. You're going to pick a movie and you got to give a review in 3 words. And so for any musical, it's going to be for Dave's too much singing.
Okay, I have a review for a movie that I watched recently.
All right.
It was called Long Legs. Have you heard of this?
No. You watch so much cool stuff. I'm so jealous.
It was a movie. It was like a horror movie, like a suspense kind of thriller horror with Nicolas Cage, and he played the character of Long Legs. And I don't really know who else was in it, to be honest. But all right. So when I'm watching a movie, there's a recipe that movies follow, where there's like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and there's certain there's character developments, and there's plot points and conflict, and then you have the big payoff at the end. That's kind of a recipe that most movies follow. Some people will rearrange them, like Quentin Tarantino kind of puts certain parts before other parts, and kind of shuffles the deck a bit. But this particular movie, and there's a pace to a movie that needs to exist. When they say like certain movies are slow burns, this movie was very slow, like extremely drawn out long shots. I appreciated the artistic vision that they had for this, but dear God, they could have used like perhaps a bit more exposition to kind of give you more info on what was happening. But like, it was so slow and so poorly paced, and the information given throughout the film was not really there for me. So it came down to the last, I want to call it like 3 to 4 minutes of the film. And out of spite, I turned it off. Because because they were about to sum up the movie however they were going to do it. And I didn't care at all what they were about to tell me about the end of this movie. I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't even want to know. I don't care. So I just shut it off.
So here's your 3-word review. Long Legs. I don't care.
I don't care. Yeah.
That's a bad indictment of a movie. I will say that there are some bad movies out there, and we've talked about them. You've reviewed a lot of them. You saw The Crow. You saw all the horror movies in the Pooniverse.
I have, yeah.
But you finished them.
I do. I finished Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, the first one, which was god awful bad.
So that's what I'm saying is like this is interesting to me because you have finished those, and they are, I would argue, objectively bad movies. But you finished them, and this one, you couldn't.
I couldn't do it. Not that I couldn't do it. I could have. I could have finished it. Yeah, I just had no desire to even know what happened at the end. That says something.
It does say something. That's a real harsh indictment on the movie. The fact that you got what? Let's say 80 to 90% of the way through this movie.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you ran out of cares, and you were like, nope.
Didn't care. That'd be like if you're watching like Armageddon, and Bruce Willis is like, he's like, I'm staying behind, and he, old Harry Stamper, and like he's like, all right, it's like, I got the button in my hand, and you're like, I'm done. Like, you're never gonna turn that scene off because it's like a huge moment. Like it's leading up to this.
Yeah. And the human nature is to want to, like, right? There's a desire to complete something, right? Like, to stop so close to the end, it eats away at humans. Like, that's just how people are wired, right? Like, that's that incompletionist, and it hits some more than others, admittedly. But that would drive me nuts to not finish the movie.
Well,
and it was so bad you didn't care. And I
exactly.
Yeah, I don't care. I think that's the 3-word review for Longlegs.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's pretty sad. I'm reading through the plot synopsis right now. It doesn't seem very enticing.
Oh, dude, I tell you, Nick Cage, like, he was playing this character like full on like makeup and stuff, and he's really weird looking, but you could see the Nick Cage coming out in certain parts where he was getting a little crazy. It was kind of funny though. Yeah, I also tried to. My friend Jason came out last night, and we were, or maybe it was 2 nights ago. Yeah, it's 2 nights ago. But anyway, he came out, and we were watching this movie, and it was called, I think it's called The Dead Don't Die, and it was a good cast. Adam Driver, Bill Murray, Danny Glover. I think even like Steve Buscemi had a small part in it, and what's her name? She was in Only Murders in the Building. What's the
Selena Gomez?
Yeah, Selena Gomez was in it. Anyway, this movie took place, the zombie movie took place in Pennsylvania. So they're talking about like Centerville and Strattonville, and like all these like PA names are coming in. And I'm like, this is a great cast. It's about zombies. It's in Pennsylvania. And we didn't finish it either. About halfway through, we're like looking at each other. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't finish this movie. It was paced weird, but I tell you what did it for us is when the zombies showed up. They were not your typical zombies. And are you a fan of zombie movies, shows, or anything?
There is only one zombie movie that I like, and that is Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, the spoof movie. The all right.
Yes, that is it. It starts and ends with Shaun of the Dead.
So you never watched like Walking Dead or Dawn of the Dead?
I've seen Dawn of the Dead. No, not Dawn of the Dead. I've seen Night of the Living Dead.
Okay.
The OG, you could argue the OG zombie.
Yeah.
movie.
So like when you think of zombies, like what was the one with Will Smith? Something.
Oh, yeah.
Last person alive, whatever it's called.
Don't even remember the name of the movie.
I know, I can't remember the name of the movie. Oh, the Legend was I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Good job. Wasn't me. That was
so in I Am Legend, those zombies are like they kind of took some liberties, and they're like, okay, so these zombies are going to be like sort of vampirish as far as like sun kills these zombies. They have to stay in the dark, but they're very fast. And what's another zombie flick like The Walking Dead? It's just mindless, hungry zombies just walk around, and like everybody kind of does their own sort of spin a little bit. They'll kind of veer maybe slightly from what you would call the normal zombie.
Yeah.
And in this movie, these two zombies came out of the ground, and in the one that Jason and I watched, and they went in this coffee shop, killed a couple of people. Spoiler. And they, for some reason, they looked over and saw coffee cups, and they go, coffee, and they started drinking the coffee.
Oh my gosh!
I'm like, you went, you went too far. Like you've gone too far with zombies.
Yep,
you missed the mark. Zombies don't do that. I know they're fake, but you gotta stay in the wheelhouse of what zombies are supposed to be like.
I need to append. Yes, you do. I need to append my previous statement.
Oh, okay.
Because it does not start and end with Shaun of the Dead. I also really like Zombieland.
Oh, Zombieland was great. Yeah.
I really like Zombieland. I had a lot of fun with it. I think that was a really, really fun.
Also another Bill Murray movie with zombies. Okay.
I know. It's good stuff. Woody Harrelson was good. Jesse Eisenberg was good. Who else was, what's her name? Emma Stone. And then Abigail Breslin?
Yeah.
She was the younger one.
Yeah. That was a good movie.
Pretty good actress. She was in, was it Little Miss Sunshine?
Yes.
So I really like. That's a pretty funny movie. Although I like just about anything with Alan Arkin in it, that old guy. If Little Miss Sunshine, the grandfather.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He is, I don't know why. Just his characterizations just crack me up.
Yeah.
So he's like that character. He always plays that character you wish you could be, right? The crotchety old guy who just says whatever the hell he wants to
Mhm.
and gets away with it. Yeah, super jealous of that guy.
Yeah. Have you watched anything recently?
Not so we're still rewatching The Good Place, so that's taking up a bit of our time. We're going to rewatch there. There was some I do not remember what it was called now. Obviously, very forgettable title. It was one of those. Well, you wouldn't have enjoyed it. It was one of those period. It was an alternate history period piece of. Oh, this is going to be terrible for presentation. I should remember the name of it. It was one of the queens. It was basically like an alt history of if one of the heirs of Henry VIII actually like survived her and didn't get beheaded,
Okay.
then she went on to be queen and like what happened there. And it's just this alternative history, but it's got some fantasy elements to it. It adds a bunch of stuff that was kind of twisty, but the style is kind of funny. It just didn't really get my attention very much. So no, nothing really new. I'm kind of waiting to see. I see Moana 2 came out on streaming.
Coming out. It comes out on the 12th, I think.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. Because I was going to say that's probably going to be some of the stuff that's was in theaters and is now coming to streaming. We're probably going to end up watching that.
Yes, I can't wait to see Moana 2.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm kind of curious. I think it's interesting they're doing Moana 2 and they're doing the live action one coming up.
I know. I'm that's one live action I can get behind. Sort of. I don't know how they're going to do Hey Hey.
I don't know. I don't know. Disney has such a liberal use of CG though, right? So they'll probably make a CG rooster or something like that.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's good. Yeah, so there's like a new like Lion King or something that came out too.
Mufasa, right?
Yeah.
That was the one. I don't know. That got mixed reviews. I don't know. I'm like OG Lion King or nothing for me. Like there was nothing wrong with the original. So we'll just stick with that. I didn't really care for the all CG talking animals one. I feel like you lose. I think we may have talked about this before. I feel like you lose too much of the characterization because they don't facially animate. They still facially animate in the new one. They still look like animals.
Right.
So you lose some of that expressiveness of the character. I think it's not as engaging. It feels distant. It feels spread out. Now, what I am excited to see is How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, that's dude.
That I'm super excited to see.
That looks so good. It looks like they're doing it kind of beat for beat, like from the animated one.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of funny because Gerard Butler gets to reprise his role as a live action character. I think that's pretty fun as Hiccup's dad.
Yes.
What's the character name? I forget.
Oh, I know. I can't remember his name.
But anyway, whoever the chief is, or whoever that leader, I think he's the only character that actually is reprising that same role because it actually works, right, for age and aesthetics. So it's cool. I don't know. The casting looks good. The style looks good. I'm okay with a beat for beat if it's good.
Yeah, my only concern is I know they decided this for a reason, but the dragon, Toothless, it still looks like Toothless, like exactly like Toothless. Like it still looks like a very well textured, animated dragon. You know what I mean?
Is your concern here? I'd like to just clarify this. Is your concern here that it doesn't look enough like a real dragon, Dave?
Yeah, a little bit. Because some of those other dragons are pretty goofy looking, and I just hope it doesn't ruin the world of this, the story, to where these goofy ass dragons are going to be in it, in this like serious tone, of this new movie. So I don't know. We'll see. But I get it though, because if they totally changed the look of Toothless, it probably would not have gone over well.
It's pretty iconic. I don't know that you can mess with that too much.
Yeah. So
what's the other live action that we get so stuck on films? You and I clearly just care.
I know.
Movies. What was the Snow White? Right. That's coming out in 2025. I'm trying to look at the date.
Oh, they are actually doing that one.
March. Snow White. Yep. That's the because that faced a lot of.
Oh yeah, it did.
It's a lot of your typical cultural backlash for so many reasons.
Well, that's where they focused on having the most racially diverse, not dwarfs. Like they're just people.
There's the not dwarfs. There was a concern because Rachel Zegler, who plays Snow White, is not white enough. And I'm like, oh my god, my head can't facepalm hard enough on some of these concerns. Like, is it going to be a good movie? Let's just measure if it's going to be a good movie or not. The same thing happened with The Little Mermaid, right? Because she was not white enough, right? Like that's such a terrible freaking stuff. I even hate saying it. I choke on the words.
I know. Yeah, I know.
It's so vile. You can hear me kind of stuttering. I'm struggling to even say those words, even while making fun of that perspective. Like I struggle with that. Yeah. So those, I don't know. Lots of interesting stuff coming out. A lot of live action remakes. Dragon's probably the most exciting for me. I think I'm just kind of done with the Disney stuff, and I feel like How to Train Your Dragon was a uniquely good DreamWorks movie that I really loved today.
Yeah.
Rewatch that. Maybe that's what this weekend's family movie is going to be, is How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, I think it's on Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be, because that's DreamWorks, isn't it? We own the Blu-ray.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. All right.
Yeah.
You ready to jump into the last bit of this? We
Yeah.
just went on a whole spiel
We just
about
like-
animated movies.
More movies all the time.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump into the last bit here. Here we go.
From all across the world, there are stories to be told. The strange, the bizarre, funny, freaky, the abnormal, and extraordinary. Grab your beer or pour some booze. It's time for the Weird News.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that intro. So what you got for us today, Dave?
I found some stories. All right. So the first weird news story I found was one of the biggest. I'm always scared of ocean things. All right.
Hey, you are.
Yeah. If I'm on a cruise, I'm afraid of falling off. If I'm in the ocean, just enjoying myself, some waist deep water, I'm scared I'm going to get eaten by a shark. This story is pretty bad. So I put a link in this one, and this whale, this looks like a humpback whale. It eats a boat. Like,
Was this the kid with the kayak?
no. The kayak one was scary too, but that was a whale that went up and took a kayaker. This is
Swallowed it and then spat it back out.
This is a boat, like a full boat.
Oh,
with
okay.
like
Pulling it up.
6, yeah, like with like 6 people on the boat. Dude, it is eating them, and it takes the whole boat underwater. Like, you have to see this video.
horrifying.
It's horrifying. Are the whales like lashing out for some reason? Like, what's going on?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm still pulling it up. Sorry, I got to log in here.
Oh, for God's sakes, Breeze.
Well, sorry, I'm not on Instagram.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't Instagram.
Give me a better link next time.
Yeah, my bad.
You got to describe it. I can't get it.
That's fine. So yeah, this boat is probably about, I would say, like a 24-foot boat, if not longer, maybe 30-footer, with like 6 or 8 people on the top deck. This whale has its mouth agape. It's like some Moby Dick shit, dude. And it just takes the boat, and it's the whole boat and people all down underwater, dude. It's crazy. Like, that's horrifying. When you're in a
That's nightmare. Did you sleep like at night?
Yeah, it's fine. But anyway, dude, it was just look it up on YouTube. Look up whale eats
Holy
boat.
crap.
You found it? Dude, it's crazy.
I mean, oh my.
I'm telling you, like, all the people like are on the top of the boat and they're just in the mouth of this whale.
World.
Oh, haunting. I can't stop watching it, dude. It's just crazy. I'm sorry.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's a new fear. You're on a boat that size, you probably think you're pretty safe when you're on the water.
I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would absolutely think I was pretty safe on the water at that point, because you're in a big boat.
Yeah, like it's a boat with like upper deck, the part where it's got like windows and stuff around it. You can go downstairs. Like, it's a good sized boat.
It's called the cabin, but yeah.
Thank
okay.
you. The cabin. I don't know
It's got
boats.
windows around it.
I don't know boats.
Another segment idea.
Yeah.
Dave describes the parts of a boat.
God. That's the tap end of our Sea of Thieves day.
That is nuts. That is crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a new fear unlocked for me.
That's, dude, fear justified. I mean, we kind of joke around about some of your concerns. You had the valid ones with the cruise ship. I imagine a cruise ship being so big that the concept of like falling off of what is effectively a floating city seems very improbable to me. But
it is, I'm sure, but it happens like every year.
It's so minor, like what you've done with that whistle is like, it's there's no inconvenience to it, right? It hurts nothing. You're not not going on the cruise,
Yeah.
right? You're still going. You're just taking a minor, small precaution in the form of a necklace. And okay, I get that. Not inconvenience, but it's interesting to me because it's just I see those things. But again, to your point, this boat looked bigger than I would think a whale would want to eat. So one never knows what's coming.
That whale was mad. It was upset about something.
Yes, yeah. Maybe his whale girlfriend just broke up with him.
Maybe just lashing out.
Yeah, rough day at work.
Yeah,
Can eat tourists. I don't know.
maybe.
Messed up. What else you got?
All right, I got 2 more here. I have this one here. It's a dog eats 24 pairs of socks.
I think I feel bad for the owner.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It was not 24. It was 24 socks. So 12 pairs of socks and 43 other things. So I'm assuming like, underwear and, I don't know, like who knows what else, but it said, Luna, a 7-month-old Bernese
Mountain Dog. So my neighbor, this is my neighbor. I've talked about my neighbor a lot.
I'm glad you pronounced that correctly for me.
Well, I only know this because I live next to one. First of all, you think a 7-month-old dog is 7 months sounds young. Bernese Mountain Dogs they're huge. Like you could mistake my neighbor's dog for a small bear. If it was like these dogs are big to begin with and they do eat anything, but we'll finish this story and I'll share some share some of my neighbor's dog. Okay, Bernese Mountain Dog.
Yeah, it ate a shoe insert, a scrunchie, 2 hair ties.
Mm-hmm.
So it says when the pooch started puking, the owners rushed it to the vet, and they ended up finding out that it ate all this stuff, but it did survive. It's got a big cone on its head. That's a big dog.
Yeah,
yeah, but no. So it says she has a very serious sock obsession, and so does our golden retriever. So anytime like I'm sitting on the couch at night, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna peel my socks off every night, dude. I'll just toss them on the floor. I'll pick them up later, usually, but my dog ends up taking them. Like she takes them all over the house, and she doesn't do anything with them. She just likes to carry them in her mouth.
Yep.
But now it's got Carrie all kind of freaked out. She's like, you gotta keep those socks off the floor. I don't want to have to, we don't have to pay a vet to remove 30 socks from her stomach.
That's a lot of. I mean, yeah, and you see the size of that dog. That's a 7-month-old dog. So
it's a big puppy.
Not even full grown. Our neighbor's dog gets very excited when she's very social. She's very friendly, a little too friendly for her size because the paws are basically bigger than my hand.
Mm-hmm.
So if she paws at you, it could do some damage. I've got some scrapes on my like legs and stuff if I'm wearing shorts in the summer because Lula comes over and says hi. But she'll pick up a shoe, like any shoe, the nearest shoe. She will not damage it. She will just pick it up and bring it to you. She has no idea what to do with her excitement, but she immediately finds the nearest shoe that someone has left on the floor and will just bring it to you.
That's so funny.
She won't let you have it, but she'll bring it to you. And it's adorable. I've also watched this dog just, like tree shredders, you see with like they feed the branch into the tree shredder and just it like eats it.
Yeah.
I've seen my neighbor's dog do that with a stick, a sizable stick. So I don't know how my neighbor's dog hasn't had to go to the vet yet, but Lula she'll just shred like a large stick that's lying on a walk.
Wow.
Done. It's almost like cartoons, like where they, like Bugs Bunny, like, like eat corn on the cob, like, and like go down the line with their teeth.
Yeah.
How she just, except for she's just like a tree shredder.
Okay.
How does that not, like, how are you still alive, dog? You're not supposed to eat that. Yeah, it's a very interesting breed.
Yeah. So I guess if you're looking at dogs and you decide to get one of those,
prepare
to have all your stuff eaten.
They do like to eat.
Yeah. When Carrie and I first started dating, she had her and her family had a Newfoundland, and
wow.
Yeah, he was like he had some kind of disability, and they called him Quasimodo.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and so but Quasi he had this thing with shoes too, but he would take your shoe, and he would take it outside and he'd bury it somewhere. Yeah, so. If you're ever like going around the house and you're like, where's my other shoe? And you can't find it, the dog probably buried it somewhere. So like over the years, like every so often they'd be like plowing the garden and pop a shoe out and like, oh, I found the shoe.
Okay, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, little shoe thief.
Oh my god!
Big
And
shoe
burying it too. And you're not going to argue with the Newfie. That's a big dog too.
He's a big boy. He's a big sweetheart.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
All right, so I got one more story to wrap up the show here.
Gonna end on a high.
Yes, yeah. Pull this one up so you can see the picture.
Okay.
So other Joe, he always had this theory.
Yeah, it's the best theories too.
Yeah, it was referred to as the greater blank space penis theory.
Yes.
So what that meant was if there's ever a blank space left alone long enough, somebody will eventually draw a penis on it.
Yep.
So this article is: someone painted a giant penis on the roof of an elementary school. Jesus. Authorities are scrambling to cover it up. It says somewhere on here that you can see it. I think they were joking, but I think it said you can see it from space.
Honestly, well, I mean, you can see anything from space now because of Google Earth. But
oh my God, it says the Germans are involved in another battle of the bulge. Come on. Wow. All right. Yeah. So this happened in Berlin.
Oh, this is Germany. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It says it was a 65-foot long the Titanic tallywhacker is so big it's visible on Google Maps. That is hilarious.
I mean, it's a full-size building.
Oh, yeah.
It covers, for our listeners, it covers the entire span of a roof. So if you take a typical elementary school, right? So rather large, but this is like traditional rectangular building, like long rectangular building. The entire roof is covered with this giant penis depiction. Like
yes.
It is by no means a minor marker graffiti.
That is so funny though, dude. It doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter where you're from.
Oh,
where you live.
So I admit I opened this and I looked at the picture and I'm like, I just assumed that it was stateside. I assumed it was America. Just because, right? But oh my, this is so, hey, it's an international rule of blank space penis theory.
Yeah. That's so funny. That may go down in history as the largest one ever drawn. 65-foot long, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's somebody who's done like some weird crop circle thing.
Maybe.
Out
nowhere. Oh my God. So there you go. There you have it.
Oh man, that's funny.
All right.
That's bravo. Whoever did that, bravo.
Yeah, good for them. Very straight lines too. I'll give them that.
It's almost like they chalked them out. Like
I know.
About.
Yeah. Yeah, snap the chalk line so they could keep it nice and straight.
Planning. I will say that took some planning to do. That's a lot of paint too.
Yeah, it's well done.
Yeah, I kind of want to. Yeah, bravo.
Yeah, it's just a shame it's on an elementary school. You could have picked a better place.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So anyway, well, you're ready to wrap this one up?
Yeah, sure.
All right, guys. Thanks for checking us out again, and we will see you next Monday.
Yeah.